Hello, and welcome back to my life. If you are new here, my name is Olajumo here, and you are welcome to DMK Ovens. Today we'll be talking about baking terms that beginner should know. Beginner baker, if you're just coming up and not only baker, the terms that you should know. That's what we'll be talking about today. So if you are here, you're welcome. Thank you for joining the live. Can you please stop talking? I'm on live. Ah, hello, please, I'm on live. Please stop talking and stop shouting. Ah, your audacity stop knocking that place. Don't you always hear? So, sorry for the break in transmission. I'm so sorry about that. I am live, and today we'll be talking about baking terms for upcoming bakers. Hi. So, my number one point here is preheat. Preheat. What does preheat mean? Preheat means before you put your cake into the oven, always preheat your oven. Maybe you you want to bake your cake at let's say 10 minutes. Preheat the oven earlier, maybe 5 minutes before you put the cake in the oven. So that's what we call preheat in the baking industry, the baking term. That's the term in the industry. Preheat. It makes your cake come out evenly and makes your cake come out very well. You don't have to be, is this cake baking? When you preheat your oven, your mind will be, as in you'll be settled. You won't have any cause to be running better than my cake is not baking. Hello, welcome to my life. My name is Alaji Moke, and if you are here, you're welcome, and I'm happy you are here. Can you please introduce yourself in the comment section? Today, we're talking about baking term that we baker use. So, the second thing I'll be talking about is creaming method. What do you mean by creaming method? Creaming method is you mixing your sugar and your butter or your margarine. That is creaming method until it is the sugar has dissolved in the butter. So that's what we call creaming method. And by creaming your sugar and your butter, it makes your cake comes out very fluffy and very what's it called? Very soft. It makes your cake to combine very well. And my third point for today is food. What do you mean by folding your cake? When you fold your cake, you fold in your cake when you pour in your flour into your sugar and your butter mixture and you fold in your cake. Hello, if you are here, you're welcome. My name is Olajumoke and I'm happy you're here. So we are talking about baking terms, terms that we use in the baking industry. That's what we're talking about. So I pray you enjoy this. So I said folding. You fold in your flour into your cake. If you are there, can you please introduce yourself in the comment section? Thank you. So you fold in your flour into your butter and your sugar mixture. And by doing that, your cake will not be tough. It will not come out tough. When you take time in folding in your flour, it is very good with folding. Whenever you are mixing your cake, don't just turn like you are making a mala. No, it's not good. You fold it in. This is how we fold it. When you have the cake, you fold it in like this. And the other one we are talking about is sieve. The fourth point here is sieve. Sieving your flour very well. When you sieve your flour very well, it makes your cake comes out fluffier. Yes, that's what most people don't know. Most people will say, I'm not sieving my flour, Jerry. Is it important? It is important to sieve your flour because you invite air, you incorporate air into your flour when you sieve it. So it is very important when you sieve your flour at every point when you want to bake. Batter, my number six term for this um class is batter. What do we mean by batter? Batter is the mixture of everything together. When you have mixed your butter, you have mixed your sugar, you mix your flour, you mix your baking powder, everything, you have incorporated everything together. We call this batter. That's why they will say transfer your butter into your pan. So butter is a word used for the preparation of all your cake. You understand? Before it turns to cake, it's still a batter. It is when you put it into the oven, uh, and it has baked and it has come out of the oven that it becomes a cake. We have dough. We use dough mostly for meat pie, bread dough. We have donut dough. Uh, for anything pastry, we use dough mostly for it. Anything pastry, we use dough for it. So don't there's difference between batter and there's difference between dough. Before your product gets to the oven, is dough. When it has come out of the oven, we call it meat pie, bread, donut. But as far as you have not baked it, it's still a dough. And your cake, if you have not put it in the oven, it is still a batter. Do you understand that? If you are there, kindly say hi, introduce yourself in the comment section. Thank you for joining. And proofing. Proofing is allowing your dough to rise. When they say proofing, when you allow um your bread dough to rise, that's what they call proofing. When you say a proof in a recipe, it means if you allow your cake to, I mean, your dough to rest for a while before you put it into the oven or before you fry it. That is proofing method. And we have crumbs. We have cake crumbs. Hello. Hi. Good to have you here, Jason. Thank you, sir, for joining the live. So, um, crumbs. We have cake crumbs. We have bread crumbs. We have lots of crumbs in the baking industry. When you what's it called? Trim your cake, you have cake crumbs. When you turn your bread to crumbs, that's bread crumbs. So we have lots of crumbs in the baking industry. So whenever you see crumbs, don't be like, what is crumbs? Crumbs is the the small particles of your cake. That is crumbs. Leveling, leveling. When you level your cake, you bake a cake and it's not level. You use a serrated knife to cut it. That means you are leveling your cake. That is, you are leveling your cake when you use a serrated knife or a bread knife to cut your cake. You are leveling your cake for your cake to look nice or for your bread to turn into slices. That means you are leveling your cake. We have crumb coats. We all say crumb coat or crumb coating. When you crumb coat, that means the first layer before you decorate the final product. That is crumb coating. Crumb coating makes your work to come out very neat. It's very good to crumb coat. Some people don't like crumb coating because they feel like it's a waste of time. But I'll give you this today as an advice. Always crumb coat your cake because it makes your cake come out very nice. It makes your cake come out very beautiful. So always crumb coat your cake before you bake. I mean before you do the final coating. And we have frosting. Frosting is the cream or icing used to cover and decorate your cake. Frosting is the word that is used for decorating or to cover your cake. Like we have whipping cream frosting, we have buttercream frosting, we have fondant. So those are um the words used for frosting. If somebody can say, okay, what kind of frosting are you using for this cake? You just say, I'm using a whipping cream because you know the word already. So frosting is a decoration that you use for your cake. It depends on the one you're using, if it is, be it buttercream, be it royal icing, be it whipping cream. So frosting are the words that are used for covering cakes. Piping. Piping is decorating a cake using a piping bag or decorating nozzle. When they say um you want to pipe on a cake, I want to pipe on a cake. Don't make it strange to you. When you're piping on a cake, that means you want to design your cake to your desired design. That is piping on cake. If you're here, you're welcome. Good to have you here. My name is Olaji Moke, and I'm talking about terms that we use in the baking industry. If you can hear me, say hi. Good to have you here. And another thing I would say is ganache. Ganache is a smooth mixture of chocolate and whipping cream. Yes, ganache is a term used for whipping cream. Ganache is a word that is used for is a smooth decoration that is made from whipping cream and chocolate. Be it white chocolate or be it dark chocolate, it is a ganache. And it's whenever you use it for your fondant, before you cover your fondant, it's always very smooth. You even love the decoration and be like, wow, this cake is so beautiful. So that's ganache. And we also use ganache for the drips that you see beside your cake. That drips that they always do. It's a ganache too. We have whipping cream. A lot of people use whipping cream now. The word whipping cream, I don't think it's strange to anybody, but I just added it to it. Whipping cream is a form of protein. It is we have mouth sugar, it is not too sweet, and most people like it because they call it ice cream. Ice cream. So that's the whipping cream. Over mixing. Over mixing is another term that is used in the baking industry that most upcoming bakers don't know. When you over mix your batter will come out tough. Your cake will not be um it will not be good to the eyes. Like you'll be like, what is wrong with this cake? So over mixing, this is when you over mix your batter. You are mixing like you're mixing ever. That is over mixing. So don't over mix your cake whenever you are mixing. Doneness test. Doneness test. Doneness test is you checking the cake or checking anything that you're baking if it is done. That is what they call doneness test. Doneness test. That is what we call doneness test in the cake industry. Hello, if you are here, my name is Olajumoke. Good to have you here. Cooling rack. Cooling rack is a wire rack that we use when our cake is done. That is where you place your cake. It has different holes, like a net, like this, where you place your cake and let your cake cool. That is a cooling rack. We call it rack or we call it cooling rack. Anyone, whenever you want to buy, just tell the vendor that you want to buy from. I want a cooling rack, and they will sell it to you. Room temperature ingredients. Room temperature ingredients are your ingredients should be at room temperature. Don't bring anything out of the fridge now and say you want to start baking. No, it doesn't work that way. Whenever you want to bake, always bring out your ingredients out. If you keep them in the fridge, always bring them out before you start baking so that you will use a room temperature ingredient. It is very essential that you use a room temperature ingredient whenever you want to bake. It is very essential. I'm still saying that it is very essential so that your cake will not have issues when you are baking. So always use a room temperature ingredient. I hope you have grabbed one or two points from everything I shared. If you have questions, kindly drop it in the comment section and I will reply. I will answer to your question. If you have any question, kindly drop it. Thank you for joining. My name is Olajumoke and I just finished a lecture on um, baking term that upcoming bakers are not familiar with. So that's what I'm talking about. So if you have a question, kindly drop your question and I will answer. Thank you for joining once again. Are you there? If you're there, kindly drop a thumbs up or ask me a question. Hello? Is anyone there? When you understand when you understand the term in the baking, like baking cake becomes so easy. You won't have to struggle with, okay, this time I don't understand it. So read a lot. Make sure you always read before you bake a cake. Nothing is strange when you read. But when you don't read, it will become straight to you. So always make sure you read before you embark on this cake journey. Thank you for listening to me. Nobody's asking any question. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the comment section. Is anyone there? So if there's no question, I'm off. Bye.